So next up we have singing and music related questions. Hannah Barta asks, what's your singing range like? Is it higher or lower than your sister's? I can hit barely a low E, the E below middle C, and comfortably I can hit maybe a B flat. I can go to a C, a high C, but comfortably a B flat. I am not so strong up high as the girls are. I am actually a lot better in my lower range than the girls are. So Charlotte and Jessica both have an amazing high voice. I'm better at, and I have a more amazing middle range voice. Esther asks, how long have you been playing the piano? And do you like classical music, Beethoven, Mozart, Chopin? I have been playing the piano a very long time. I think it's been 10, 12 years. It actually might be like 12, 13 years. So, yeah, a long time. And I'm very glad of it. As far as classical music, I love classical music. That's what I was trained on for piano. My favorite classical composer, Bach or Debussy. Love Debussy. His music is just so... My favorite is Clair de Lune. Okay, moving on. Victoria asks, what was your favorite part about the recording process for your CD? I think I would have to say my favorite part was being able to, after all the preparation leading up to going into studio, seeing the culmination of all that preparation and realizing that we girls were fully ready to be able to record a CD, that all the work that we had put into it was paying off with every single note that we sang in studio. And it was just so surreal being able to hear ourselves with such a high quality recording, even though it's a rough draft, wasn't mixed completely and everything. But just being able to hear ourselves and hear that, oh, we did that really well. And we actually can sing in tune on the first go, So, yeah, I think that was my favorite part, just being able to see the realization of all of our efforts. So, C. Grace asks, can you play any instruments aside from piano? No. Now for a very short segment on fashion-related questions. Olivia M. asks, which time era is your favorite for clothing and which era appeals to you the most makeup-wise and why? Favorite for clothing? 1932 to 1952. Because I've discovered a new love for the fashions of the 30s, and I've always, well, not always, but for several years now, loved the fashions of the 40s and early 50s. So maybe more like 1932 to 1955, but yeah. Which era appeals to me most makeup-wise? I think the 40s, because it was just pretty simple, like brown, neutral colors, and it just looked very natural even though it had the red lips and everything. So I think the 40s, and maybe the 30s too, though the 30s had more of a smoky eye look, if I can say that, because they would line their eyes and everything. So I would say the 40s because it just looks so natural and pretty and feminine. C. Grace asks, and a lot of you asked this question, she says, a lot of people have asked this, but I'd love to know who your style icon is. Okay, I'm going to completely shock all of you. But I thought about this, I didn't think about it too long, but I don't really have a style icon. Weird, I know, but I don't. I mean, if anyone, it would probably be my sisters. I mean, Charlotte, she combines prints so in such a neat and perfect, effortless way. And then Jessica is on the other side of the spectrum where she combines like the coolest pieces, like a lacy sort of shrug with like a neutral green turtleneck and a khaki, not khaki, like a tan skirt. And so, actually, my sisters. And last two questions for this segment come from Abby. She asks, what colors would you consider a major part of your wardrobe? Is this intentional, or do you find yourself just naturally leaning towards that color? Coral. Coral is a big part of my summer wardrobe, and blue/rust those are a big part of my winter wardrobe. And it's not really, coral was intentional, though I realized that I have way too many coral stuff for summer. So I just like coral. It's like one of my favorite colors. And blue and rust I love for winter, though by the end of winter I'm sort of getting sick of those colors. But by the end of summer I'm very glad to wear them again because I'm sick of coral. So yeah, it was intentional and sort of not intentional. They're just, I like those colors. And she also asks, how has your personal style changed over the years? Well, I have gone from wearing tutti frutti fabric skirts in turquoise and purple and pink and green with corresponding t-shirts to wearing denim skirts with t-shirts to wearing now more vintage inspired like half circle skirts and t-shirts and dresses and all that. It's definitely matured over the years. I used to wear a lot of ruffle skirts. I now hate ruffle skirts. Okay, I don't hate them. I don't like them. They're the most flattering on my body. And now I love wearing half circle skirts. And I used to not care a lot about what I wore. I now care a little bit more. I'm still working on caring about jewelry part. I mean, that's slowly starting to come. Now on to personal questions. Naomi Bennett asks, do you have a middle name? Yes, I do, and actually all of us girls have the same middle name. It's our mom's name. It's Kathleen. Samantha Smith asks, and actually several of you asked this, and I can understand why. I'd love to know your favorite Bible verse and why. I would have to say Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He will direct your paths. And anytime that I'm struggling, that verse has helped me. Heather V asks, what are your favorite and least favorite things about being the middle child? Favorite and least favorite. Ooh. Favorite would be the fact that I can be chummy with either my older sister or my younger sister, or with both of them. Though when I was younger, I used to mainly be chummy with Jessica. Over the years, Charlotte and I have drawn a lot closer together. Least favorite thing? I'll tell you right now, if you are the middle girl of 3 girls, you may have experienced this. I hope you have, so I'm not the only one. But dealing with 2 okay, we're all imperfect here, and we all can be prima donnas at times, but whenever you're dealing with 2 prima donnas, one who's younger than you and one who is older than you, and they're both picking on you because you don't agree with them, yikes. Patricia Tully asks, she has a few questions. What is your biggest pet peeve? Biggest pet peeve. People leaving drawers or cupboards open. Yeah. It just bothers me. Okay. If you could be transported back in time and be someone for a day, what era and character would it be? This is also from Patricia Tully, by the way. If I could travel back in time, be someone for a day, what era and character? I would love to be in the 1920s, a student of the Women's Institute of Domestic Arts and Sciences that was founded by Mary Brooks Picken. She was just such an inspiration to get women back in the home and being able to creatively live in the home, not to be a decoration, but to be a living, breathing, supporting part of your family by sewing, by cooking, by baking, by learning how to can, by learning how to make your own clothes, make your own patterns, refashion clothes. She was just such an amazing person. So to be able to be a student of hers just for a day at the Women's Institute of Domestic Arts and Sciences, would be absolutely amazing. Valeria asks, and by the way, I love your name, that is such a pretty name. She asks, is there something that you would really love to do / try but you are too scared, like some type of sport? I think it would have to be skiing. I think I would like to try that someday. Nadia Kotik asks, what are your plans for the future? I really don't have any plans for the future outside of continuing singing with my sisters and sewing and just trying to be the greatest blessing that I can to the people who are in my life and just following where the Lord leads me. I mean, that really is the ultimate plan of my life, is following where God would have me go. Bonnie asks, is there anything you would change about your past if you could? There's just one, so there's probably quite a few, but there's one scenario in particular that comes to mind if it's a small thing, but I would definitely wish I could go back and change it. Whenever we girls moved from Washington, when our family moved from Washington to Ohio, our last piano lesson that we girls had with our piano teacher in Washington was a disaster. We girls bickered and argued. We were playing a what do you call it? A piano piece for 3 people. Does not work well. No, bad idea when you have a bunch of girls all under the age of 12 trying to. It was a disaster, and we just were bickering, and it was our last lesson with our piano teacher. We wouldn't see her again. I really wish I could go back and change that and have behaved better and not been so stupid. Eleanor asks, are you shy or outgoing? I am shy whenever it comes to meeting new people. As soon as I know someone, I'm outgoing. Jasmine B asks, do you read novels? If you do, what are your favorites? I used to read a lot of novels. I don't anymore because I knit at night while Jessica reads typically. That changes, but one of my favorites would be what's it called? The Iron Peacock. Also, any of the Lamplighter books that I've read. Ishmael, well, I listened to that one. I listened to Ishmael and Self-Raised. Those ones are awesome. The Hidden Hand is awesome. To Have and to Hold is a good one, though I haven't listened. I listen to most of these books because Dad or someone else would read them out loud, though I also read quite a bit myself, or I used to. Also, The Scarlet Pimpernel. We have an awesome audiobook version of that. Love that one. Claire asks, which year or age has been your favorite so far? It would probably be actually this past year. It's been so amazing. The things that have happened this past year are absolutely incredible. I would have never believed you if you had told me 10 years ago that I'd be living the life that I'm living right now. I wouldn't have believed you. So it's, yeah, it would probably be this past year. I mean, the Lord has taken us on such amazing journeys and given us so many amazing opportunities. Abby asks, do you ever wish you had a more separate identity instead of always being one of the Boyer sisters in terms of singing and how people view you through the blog and in person? No. There is such an amount of strength and security in being one of three people, because you aren't the only one relied upon to speak or to act, and we can all fill in for each other whenever one of us can't do something. Last question, yay! We're at the last question. Cassie asks, which sister do you spend the most time with, or are you three peas in a pod? As far as going from whenever I was 3 years old, since I was born, to now, as far as calculated amount of time that I've spent with one of my sisters, it'd probably be Jessica. It's evened out now, sort of. I spend probably equal amounts of time with Charlotte and Jessica, though I still, I'll talk more at night with Jessica than I would with Charlotte. We have more opportunities to talk. During the daytime, Charlotte. During the evenings, Jessica. Well, thank you all so much for your wonderful questions and for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did answering your questions. If you're viewing this on YouTube, be sure you check out our blog if you haven't already. And if you're viewing this on the blog, be sure and check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. So, thank you again. Bye.